what is going on, freedom fighters? Welcome back to another broadcast here on Break the Chains Media. Today is July 22nd, 2026. I'm your host, Corey. This is Break the Chains Media on We Are Change Wednesday. We are crushing it here. It's been a busy summer. I've been out and about doing other things, which is why my schedule is not as regular as it normally is. But have no fear. The information, the news, the fun stuff, the on-the-ground reporting, it's still coming out and it's still getting done because that is what I do and that is what I care about. But yes, in light of everything, I mean, holy cow, where do we even begin? I think the last time I actually did a stream, it was the election night coverage. So thank you to all who showed up for that. It was an excellent time. And a lot of things have changed since the election night. It's been just about a month now. Holy cow. But point being is that here in Colorado, the tables are being set. The chairs are in place. The actors are on the table and the lights are on. The food is ready. We are about to go to town 90 days out from the midterms. And holy cow, we've got a lot of political stuff to get into here in Colorado, news and information. What is going on, Smart BYK? Appreciate you for hanging out here from Broomfield. We are going to be breaking down some of the exciting stuff that happened yesterday at Mayor Mike Johnston's State of the City address. Mr. Mayor Mike Johnston is the mayor of Denver, and he just had so many amazing things, beautiful stories. He took us on a wild ride, a story time, if you will, of all these great things and accomplishments that he's done. And I showed up. I was trying to be present. I was in the arena, and as much as I would have liked to have, I recorded several hecklers that were in the audience that were escorted out. And as much as I wanted to do that, I wanted to participate, I wanted to show my grievances to Mayor Mike Johnston, I held my tongue. I was very reserved. I was rather professional. So we can do a round of applause for that. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. I'm growing in my process. There is a time for active defiance. There's a time to sit by, and there's a time to observe and report. So with that being said, I got a lot of really good information, really good clips from his speech. And we're going to break down some of those here on this live stream. And I also wanted to show you some of the clips of the actual hecklers as well. And just to, not burying the lead or anything, basically what happened during the State of the City address by Mayor Johnston, he said that Denver is thriving, Denver is succeeding, Denver is on the rise, Denver's better, homelessness is down, crime is on the decline, everything's good, rainbows and gumdrops. That is what Mayor Mike Johnston was saying. Well, I'm going to break it to you. I'm going to bring the truth. I'm going to bring the facts. I'm going to bring some information because that is absolutely not at all what's happening. Mayor Mike Johnston wants you to deny your own eyes and ears and wallets. It is harder to live in Denver. It is harder to thrive in Denver, and it's harder and more dangerous to aspire in Denver in many different aspects. So we're going to get into all that. But if this is the first time joining Break the Chains Media, smash that thumbs up button, smash that like button, share this video with your friends and family who want to know about Colorado information, who want more information regarding Colorado politics. I'm on Instagram at Break the Chains Media, Break the Chains M on X, or you can go to the website breakthechains.media. That is the website, that is the landing page, and all the socials are right here for your clicking pleasure. And then at the top right corner, if you want to support the stream, check out Realm Walker Hot Sauce on Instagram. Hand-bottled homemade hot sauce from yours truly. Grow the peppers myself. From mild to extreme heat. Grab yourself some flavors right now. Travel the 9 realms of Norse mythology through hot sauce. So, with that being said, we are jumping right into it. Wow, I gotta take a little sippy deal. Smart BYK says, I aspire to move out of Denver and Colorado. The sad thing is I do not want anyone to feel like that is the only solution. And I understand what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying. And it is frustrating because I'm almost in that boat as well. It's like, how do I remain involved and remain consistent and try to aspire a legacy and a better generation for my children and my grandchildren if this city and if this state is so anti-citizen, anti-American, and restricting me on every aspect of my life. How am I supposed to thrive and succeed with everything that they are trying to shove down our throats? But this is from Common Sense Institute, Colorado. I just wanted to lead with this because this is a great little piece of information that we have to understand how they do the breakdown here in Colorado, how they get all of the information and all the money that they need, right? Colorado's income tax rate is among the lowest in the country, but fee-funded enterprises tell another part of the story. This is really what it comes down to, is because we have Tabor, folks. Colorado has the taxpayer bill of rights, and that is one of the most important things that we have, and we have to be as most vocal about when it comes to these elected officials, when it comes to these elections, and these people are trying to take our taxpayer bill of rights away. Common Sense Institute Colorado states, Colorado's income tax rate is the lowest in the country, but fee-funded enterprises tell another part of the story. If the revenue collected by Colorado's fee-funded enterprise in 2025 were instead raised through the state income tax, the current rate would need to rise from 4.4% to 14.22%. Learn more in CSI's full analysis, and the link is right here. You can check this. I shared this on my X page. But essentially, what they're doing right now is the state of Colorado, instead of having taxes, because we have Tabor, because everything that we do, every type of tax that they would want to impose on us would have to be voted on by the taxpayers. That is what the taxpayer bill of rights is. You cannot raise our taxes without letting us have a say in those taxes. So what do? They circumvent that and they add fees. And they make our fees and every other aspect of our life more unaffordable, more unattainable, and more expensive. That is the problem, and that is what they're going to continue to do. Now, with the announcement of Phil Whiny Weasel Weiser just announced that Dahlkemper, the county commissioner from Jefferson County, is going to be his lieutenant governor. With her being lieutenant governor, she was the one who's attacking our Tabor rights in Jefferson County. She was the one who wants to eliminate Tabor. And if these people get in office, you can guarantee it that our Tabor rights and our taxpayer bill of rights will be eliminated. So keep an eye out for that. Now, I just wanted to lead with that because that is kind of something that Mayor Mike Johnston was kind of talking about earlier in his address to the city, right? So this is my video, me going into the to the State of the City address, and just my 2 cents about everything, and the fact that Mayor Mike Johnston lies through his teeth. These Democrats will constantly sell you a bill of false goods. They will piss on you and tell you it's raining. They will do everything they can to conflate their achievements and their triumphs. But at the end of the day, the reality sets in, and when rubber hits the road, you live, and we all live in the struggle of Denver. We live in the struggles of these metro districts. And you know what? Mayor Mike Johnston did put a little bit of facts. He sprinkled them in there. He threw in a couple numbers, a couple data statistics in there. But you know what? Just because homelessness might be slightly down in Denver does not change the fact that the entire metro district has been plagued with homelessness in the metro area, in other cities around Denver, Arvada, Wheat Ridge, Broomfield, Lakewood, Parker, down south in Aurora, and other parts of the area of the Denver metro. So maybe not in the city and county of Denver are they experiencing homelessness. They've just moved up and down the different light rail districts and up and down the different light rail lines. So the homelessness has now been dispersed. So yes, by proxy, de facto, the homelessness might have dropped slightly in Denver. But that doesn't change the fact that overall, as a metro district, our homelessness is still a plague to the city and still needs to be dealt with accordingly. But yes, with that being said, let's keep going here. I'm going to show you one of the first hecklers that were there. And like I said, folks, I wanted to be one of these hecklers. I went in there, and you know me. If you haven't seen any of my videos before, you know me. Okay, I'm one of the guys who shows up and uses my First Amendment to the fullest extent of my abilities, if you know what I mean, right? So I do everything I can to make sure that these people know that we do not agree and we do not support what they are doing to the people of the state. Now, with that being said, I did go in there and I read the room and I read the energy, and I felt that my best method, the best path forward in that instance, was to stay calm and stay involved in the actual event and record and gain as much video information as I could from Mike Johnston, so that I can bring those facts to you in smaller clips and in smaller videos to break down his lies piece by piece. So look forward to that, and make sure you follow me on all my socials, because I will be making these videos and breaking down what he said and how I contrast that with the facts and data that's actually happening in Denver. But without further ado, let's check out one of these first hecklers here, okay?
Bigger than its failures. Our job is not to repeat the failures. Our job is to keep the promise. It's in that call for reinvention that we are still a frontier, not a frontier of memory,
Mayor, you are the failure.
but a place that draws its
You are
power
a
from
fraud
the
and the
opportunity
most
to change.
corrupt mayor in this city. You plundered. You
Sir, I'd be happy to talk to you.
no, you
I wanna
lied.
make
You
this
said that
clear
in
these
bail.
folks are here
You should be
to
locked
hear.
up.
I'd love to have you
Your
stay
shelters
stand, but if you can't, I'd
are
love to
overdosing, and you are
So I'm gonna keep
bankrupting
going.
this fucking city. You are a fraud,
People came here
and you should be locked up.
because they were stuck someplace else. The wrong job, the wrong name.
Give that man a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, give that man a round of applause. He says what we all are thinking, right? He says what we're all experiencing, right? He said it. Mayor Mike Johnston is a fraud. He is a liar, okay? And we all can agree to that because we see it every day in downtown Denver. That was the first one. That was the first heckler. They were, I think there were a total of 3. The third one was kind of a little too quiet, and I think they shoot her off before she actually could make a scene about it. But you know, Denver Fail makes a great point to this, and I retweeted it. But Mayor Mikey Johnston lied through his. Oh, let me do this. Right. Mayor Mikey Johnston lied through omission, cherry-picked facts and data, over-promising more pipe dreams for Denver, and will continuously under-deliver as he has in the past. The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. That is a quote from George Orwell's 1984, and it could not be more true today, because everything we are experiencing in Denver and in Colorado, all of these politicians that are in office right now will literally use ad hominem attacks. They will cherry pick data. They will use fake, institutionalized, structured of control to continue to promote their agenda and their mission and their statements, right? And be damned the reality. Be damned what's happening on your streets and in your neighborhood. Be damned about the crime and the nightly shootings that are happening in Denver. No. Crimes aren't happening. There is no war in Ba Sing Se. There is no war in Ba Sing Se. For all of you Avatar, The Last Airbender fans out there, you know what I'm talking about. That is exactly the Democrat operation that's happening right now in Colorado. No, 100%. And I got the other heckler here, and then we'll break down a clip or two. But this right here is the other heckler. So let's take a look here. So Mayor Mikey Johnston unveiled his plan for universal child care for Denver. Oh no, this is the universal. I'm sorry, this is a different clip. This is a different clip. This is for universal child care. This is actually, we should actually do this one because this is actually rather interesting because you know, when you think about it,
Well, tonight we care.
So this here is a clip of Mayor Mike Johnston announcing his idea and his plan for the future of Denver regarding universal child care. Is Mayor Mike Johnston actually going to go to that length? Is he going to go full Minnesota on us by implementing a universal child care policy? I think he was talking to Tim Walz. Let's take a listen because I don't know where he's going to be getting the money for this universal child care plan that he wants to attain. And I truly believe that he's using this as a position in his campaign to win a second term, because take a listen, because he actually says something here.
The rest of the way. Tonight we carry it to universal child care for every family in Denver. Tonight, in these two women's honor, we will create the Haynes-Gary Task Force, charged with delivering the plan to deliver on child care for all before the end of our second term.
You got to get it done. You got to bring it in.
This task force has three guys. First, to cut the red tape so passionate educators can open and run a quality child care business without drowning in paperwork. Yes. For those that work in these places, they know how real that is. Second, to build a pipeline of well-trained, well-paid caregivers who can support this system. And third, to chart the path to make care affordable and accessible for every Denver family within the next 5 years.
Can I make a statement here? If families are leaving Denver and population is in decline, then why is this very expensive program needed? Not to mention Amendment 79 and the full-term abortion that happens in the state of Colorado. You know, regardless of that, but population is in decline and people are leaving Denver. So why do we actually need universal child care for the city of Denver? Think about that for a moment.
And we will start this the way we always start big initiatives, which is by listening to Denver residents. So over the next 6 months, we will launch a citywide listening conversation, going into neighborhoods to hear from the families and providers at barbershops and nail salons and school pickups, listening to folks every day.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So he's going to start a listening conversation. He's going to start a task force. It's all pie in the sky, pipe dream ideology, right? All this stuff is down the road. We're going to do a thing. We're going to do a thing, and trust me, just vote me in, and we'll get it done. Promise you. Mike, where's the money coming from? Why is this actually needed? It's another form of more government control, more government intervention into our lives, and making us less of a nuclear family, less independent from the state. That's the biggest problem. Yes. So that is another clip there. But then let's check out this other heckler here. This guy was great. This guy was awesome. He let him have it, man. He let Mikey have it. But I'm saying it right here. Heckler number 2 of Denver Mayor Mike Johnston's State of the City address. He shouted about homeless deaths, police brutality, housing lies, and statistics. While being escorted out, Mike tried to continue his story time as he left. The Democrat crowd applauded and clapped like seals. Let's take a listen.
Outright lie. You have done nothing.
Don't disrespect the people whose story we're here to talk
To
about.
our Houseland community. You have done
Don't
nothing.
disrespect the folks
You
who are here
have
to
done
talk about.
nothing but cruelty and enforcement. You have
I'm
destroyed
going to go ahead and
our
wait for you on to move.
Sorry, I gotta press this button because I'm done. Whoopsie.
outright lie. You have
So this here is the second heckler of the Mayor Mike Johnston's State of the City address, and this guy really brings it to him. So let's take a listen.
outright lie. You have done nothing.
Don't disrespect the people whose story we're here to talk
To
about.
our Houseland community. You have done
Don't disrespect the
nothing.
folks
You
who are here
have
to
done
talk about.
nothing but cruelty and enforcement. You have
I'm
destroyed
going to go ahead and
our
wait for you on to move. And then I'll be able to finish the story about that.
Fired up, dude.
You're firing the police department and killed Houseland people. Don't touch me.
The Senate is part of government. It's okay. I want to finish the story about a man who was here to demonstrate the change of policy.
You are a liar! You
Here we
are
go.
a liar! You are a
In Denver,
I think they all start.
let me tell you the story about Seth.
And that last little yell there was, I think, the third heckler. But no, Mayor Mike Johnston, he just kept talking. He just kept talking about it. He just kept wanting to go on about the stories that he was trying to tell all the people about the good parts of Denver and all the successes that they've had. So he's going to lean into these story times rather than dealing with the actual facts that person was yelling about. The facts that these homeless people are still dying, the homeless shelters are not being used effectively. The NGO grift is real when it comes to homelessness in Colorado, and there's going to be more to come on that end, I assure you that, because this is a huge issue in Colorado. The fact that these NGOs ride on homeless housing and redeveloping old hotels to turn into homeless encampments or new developments and new buildings specifically for homeless and HUD housing for homeless individuals, transitory individuals. This is part of Denver's big NGO grift and corporate structure, corporate corruption that's happening from the top down. And Gandalf, I know you got something to say about Mayor Mike Johnston and his homeless NGO fraud. What you got for me, Gandalf?
You shall not pass!
Every single time. Gandalf gets it. He understands. He knows what's going on. But no, this is real. This is the facts. And Mayor Mike Johnston just wants to keep going off on his stories and going off on his tangent and not dealing with the facts. No, so that is just two of the examples of these actual people heckling. But I wanted to actually shift gears here, and I wanted to show you some of these stats and information regarding some of the things that Mike Johnston actually said. So with that being said, without further ado, we are jumping right over to, let me pull it up here. Where is it at? I gotta find it.
After COVID, Alma Lincoln Park was a place that started to slip. There were shootings, drug activity moved in, families stopped going outside.
Yeah. So he's this is Mike talking about where is it at? Let me find it. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I guess it's a little weird in framing, but it's fine. So I'm showing you this clip right off the rip because Mayor Mike Johnston is talking about homelessness and crime on the cusp of the COVID lockdowns, right? Ending COVID, there was a transitory period where we had a lot of redevelopment and restructuring that had to be done in Denver, and not just in Denver, but across the country and across the world, right? COVID really screwed up a lot of infrastructure, a lot of businesses, and a lot of city development happening. So, with that being said, you can't, as much as I would like to blame everything on Mike Johnston's ineptitude, COVID really screwed up a lot of things for the world in its entirety. But that does not change the fact that since COVID, we have been witnessing a rise in crime, a rise in homelessness, an increase in businesses leaving the city. So let's take a listen to what Mike Johnston had to say coming off of the heels of COVID.
After COVID, Alma Lincoln Park was a place that started to slip. There were shootings, drug activity moved in, families stopped going outside. First, games got canceled, then the baseball league shut down altogether. A lot of people have written off the park, but two men refused. Commander Aaron Arbitrano grew up in an area probably not unlike Alma Lincoln, a well-rooted neighborhood with families that have been there for generations, and the desire to serve places like it drew him to the Denver Police Department in 2008. He learned how to be a cop patrolling the streets of District 1, and in 2025 he took over as the commander responsible for this neighborhood. And Seth Hausman, the city's recreation director, had watched the decline of his
story time
too. And so Rev and Seth sat down with neighbors and asked them what needed to happen. And the answers were clear. Lights in the park, more patrols, safer crosswalks. So they went to work. They cleared encampments and got folks housing. They closed drug markets. DPD established a Colfax car, which is a 2-officer assignment focused solely on that neighborhood. Our transportation team put in new lights. Our foresters cleared dead trees and shrubbery, and our licensing team enforced against bad behavior in nearby convenience stores. Parks and Rec filled the calendar with events, and they brought baseball back for the first time in years. The result?
Baseball back.
Total crime in Alma Lincoln Park is down 31% in 1 year. Violent gun crime is down 45%.
Violent gun crime is down 45%, and total crime in Lincoln Park is down 31%.
And the same is true across Denver. Between 2020 and 2023, this city averaged close to 100 homicides per year. Today, we have cut that number almost in half. But that doesn't mean our work is done. Progress doesn't always move in a straight line. There will always be challenges, and that's why at the beginning of the summer, when we started receiving reports that Alma Lincoln was seeing issues again, we didn't wait for it to get worse. Seth and Reb and our neighbors went right back to work to make sure history would not repeat itself. These are the partnerships we are setting up all over the city. And in 5 of the 6 locations we are running these partnerships, we have not had a single shooting this year.
Okay. Not a single shooting this year in 5 of
And
those
it works
6
because
districts.
it's not a
Take a
one-time
listen.
fix. It is an ongoing partnership between neighbors and police and city agencies to address each concern as it arises. This is our commitment. It isn't a promise that there will never be problems. It is a promise we will never shy away from tackling them together.
Yeah, so Mayor Mike Johnston over here saying that overall crime is down, overall homicides and shooting are down, everything is on the up and up. And don't get me wrong, he obviously said right there that nothing's perfect and they're still in works and it's still, they still have more to do. It's very obvious. But I wanted to show you this, folks. This is from crimegrade.org. The safest and most dangerous places in Colorado, crime maps and statistics. Crime per capita in Colorado, okay? So I'm just showing you the Denver metro area as a whole, okay? So you got overall crime, you got property crime, you got violent crime, and you've got also vehicle theft, burglary. You could break it down in all the different aspects and all the different, robberies, assaults, drug crimes, vandalism, you name it, it's all here. But just take a look at this map, okay? And it's all per capita, folks. So let's zoom in here. Okay, obviously we see the red district out here out in DIA. That's all Denver. So all of this is Denver. Okay, all this is Denver. Okay, then you come into the metro a little bit further. It breaks it down into smaller districts down in here. But what do you know? What do you know? The entire downtown core of Denver, off the I-25 corridor here, is literally all red. Outside of a couple little spots here, off Blake Street, off of 20th Street. Your better up-to-do neighborhoods, as it were. Your gentrified neighborhoods, as it were. But check out over here out east, okay? This is City Park over here, okay? City Park right here. Check that out. How much crime is happening in City Park? You tell me. Let's take a look here, okay? Can I get the actual numbers of that area? No. Hold on. So the grading here is A is green and F is red. So all of the area around City Park is an F. All the areas out here, we're looking at C's, we're looking at D's. Then you got down south here and up Cherry Creek, Spear Boulevard, all this. Of course, you got to make sure that the more white communities are taken care of, right? I mean, let's be honest. If we're gonna talk Democrat talking points, you tell me what neighborhoods are actually being affected, appropriately when it comes to gentrified and minority neighborhoods, minority districts, right? Look at this, all the way down the I-25 corridor, all the way down into Englewood, okay? Almost down into down off of 470 here. But folks, this is the reality here. You see the entire Denver metro. And see how it spreads into the into the suburbs of Denver. So you got, Arvada, Aurora, Westminster, Federal Heights, Thornton, Lakewood. All of these places here are now being affected furthermore by the crime that Mayor Mike Johnston is refusing to actually give you the detailed numbers. Okay, let's take a look here. Okay, this is another part of it. Denver ranked 5th in metro areas with the highest homeless population, new report says. This is from the Denver Gazette, January 13, 2026, okay? Homelessness tents lined up on 8th Avenue along Logan Street, okay? 2025, the annual point in time count released, the Metro Denver Homeless Initiative told a similar story for last year. The count is nationwide, yearly, and unduplicated count of homeless population conducted on a single night in January. A total of 7,327 people were counted as homeless. That number grew by 788 over 2024. So year over year, we're gaining more and more homeless people in Denver, okay? On Mayor Mike Johnston's first day in office, 2023, he declared a state of emergency on homelessness in the city, and that enabled Johnston to move forward with plans to clean up homelessness and encampments. Moving people indoors and off the streets with the financial backing of federal funding resources such as the American Rescue Plan Act. Folks, I truly believe that him using that national emergency allowed him to relocate these relocate homeless people into other areas in the metro area, not just in Denver, but in Arvada, in Lakewood, in Aurora, in Wheat Ridge, you name it. That's how he's been able to move and manipulate these numbers around, okay? John Ewing, Johnston's spokesperson, told the Denver Gazette that the initiatives are working on, and the CBI report used data from the beginning of 2024, only 6 months into Johnston's term. As for more up-to-date efforts, we're proud to have helped nearly 8,000 people secure shelter since 2023 and 6,700 more moving into housing, he said. So apparently they are doing an effort for homelessness. But these numbers don't match the amount of money that they actually dump into the homeless enterprise that's happening here in Colorado. When we're talking about building houses, we're talking about refurbishing old hotels, motels, and buildings, commercial buildings into homeless structures. Okay, so this is the reality, folks. A new study by the Common Sense Institute found that the metropolitan Denver ranked 5th in total number of homelessness among the 50 largest metro areas in the country in 2024. The study claimed that there were more than 14,000 homeless people in the metro area in 2024, just below Seattle, Chicago, LA, and New York, respectively. Folks, I don't know where Johnson's getting his information or getting his data, but crime is obviously still a serious concern. Homelessness is still a serious concern. And as he stated, you know, we still have a lot of work to do. But these hecklers and these people like you and me are calling him out and calling out the grift and calling out the corruption that still plays out to this day. That is what we need to continue to do, folks. Yes, indeed it is. But folks, I wish I could go on longer, but I have some other important things I need to be jumping over to. But without further ado, jumping into it for next week, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to be making a few more videos regarding these stats and information that Mayor Mike Johnston put out in his State of the City address. So keep an eye out for some of these short form videos where I'm going to be breaking down the numbers and statistics and data when it comes to combating his story time and his rhetoric in these State of the City addresses. And we'll show the facts, we'll show the data, we'll show the information, what needs to be said, what needs to be done. And I've got other things regarding potential localized crime that we need to get a real serious handle on, and the police might even be complicit in allowing this type of criminal behavior to be taking place, and it's happening closer in the cities that you would expect. It's actually quite shocking, so I'm working on that as well. And what else do we have coming down the pike? We're moving into August here. So we're going to be ramping up a lot for midterms, a lot for these local races. It comes back down to the races, folks. It comes back down to localism over globalism. We got to make sure we get good people in office. We got to make sure we get good names on the ballot. We got to go down ballot. We got to make sure that we're getting House races won. We got to make sure we're getting Senate races won. We got to make sure we get good county commissioners, good Secretary of State, good attorney generals. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. I don't know if we're ever going to get a governorship, but we have to do everything we can to combat Phil Weiser and his scumbaggery and his leftist creep that's going to be taking over Colorado. But without further ado, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all so much for being part of Break the Chains Media. Let's see if we can actually raid someone here on Rumble. But who would be on right now? Let's see if Owen is on. No, he's not on. Badlands. Yeah, let's go over to Badlands. We'll grab. Are they on right now? Oh no, they're about to be on. I'm trying to find someone I can actually raid. Yeah, I guess we could just do that. We can jump over there, maybe. Sure, let's do that. Let's go over here. We're gonna go to the default Beanie compound because that is one of the most safest and secure places that we could actually be going to. Folks, thank you all for being a part of Break the Chains Media. And like I said, share this video with your friends and family. Be a part of the Chain Breakers here on Break the Chains Media. We're going to be doing more live streams. We're going to be more up to date on all of the videos here on YouTube, on Rumble, and on X. But make sure you follow me on Instagram. Make sure you follow me on X, Break the Chains Media on Instagram, Break the Chains M on X, and thank you for being a part of the change that you wish to see in the world. Fight for freedom and never give up.